Today's training tip segment, we're going to learn more about vaccines and the importance of where to get it and the right things to do. Joining us today for that Place from Pets, Traci Bittler, and of course, Stella. So thanks very much for coming today.
Thank you so very much for having us here.
Okay, so we know vaccinations are so important for pets.
Yes.
But you got to also do your due diligence, right, and go to the right places. So let's talk about that. Explain.
Excellent. So when you're getting your puppies vaccinated, it's always good to go in the right sequence. And it's very important to take your puppy to your veterinarian to get those vaccinations. When you take your dog to a veterinarian, not only are you getting the vaccination that your puppy needs, that's the appropriate vaccination for their age. For instance, at 8 weeks old, they get a distemper, adenovirus 2, and parvovirus vaccination. They get the same vaccination at 12 weeks and again at 16 weeks. And then they're due for their rabies vaccination after that 16-week vaccination. Your veterinarian knows this information and will be able to give them the vaccination at the appropriate age with the appropriate vaccination. The other reason why it's important to take them to the vet is because your vet will give your puppy a complete physical vaccination, or physical examination.
Yeah.
So they'll look at their eyes and their ears to check their hearts, and all of that, and do bring a stool sample with you so they can check for internal parasites. They'll also do an external parasite check and all of that. That's a fully comprehensive exam that your puppy gets every single time you take it in for its 8, 12, and 16-week vaccinations, which is so important. Those things you don't get if you just grab a vaccination off the shelf at the local farm store, right? The other thing why it's important is when you get your vaccination from your vet, you know that that vaccination has been handled appropriately. Vaccinations, in order to be effective, must be kept at a certain temperature and stored in a certain location. You don't know how they're handled at a farm store or at another store that you get your vaccinations from. They could have been left out too long and gotten too warm. And let's face it, if it's not kept right, it loses its ability to protect your dog. So you're basically wasting your money on something that's not worth it, right?
Yeah.
So if you get it at the vet, you know it's handled appropriately and you'll get a effective vaccination, right?
I mean, the pets, they're part of your family, right? I mean, you take care of vaccinations and go to the doctor for your kids.
Exactly.
This is not any different, hardly. It seems like you need to go to the vet and make sure that everything is done right.
Absolutely right. And then you'll establish that relationship with the vet. And then if something happens as your dog ages, gets some kind of, the age diseases, the age things that come, we all get old and right? So we know that we have a relationship with our vet because we've gone there through the vaccinations that they need annually or whatever your vet recommends. And so your vet knows your dog. So they'll be able to tell, listen, there's something a little off with his back foot. Let's take a look at that. Or maybe his heart sounds a little different this year. So those are the kinds of things that it's so important to get your dog to the vet and build that relationship from the start.
Right, yeah, that's one of those things. Don't cut corners. Don't skip the vet.
No, not at all.
Yeah, very good. Well, thank you for coming today.
Thank you.
Thanks for chilling, Stella. Don't go away. First Edition continues in a moment.